Hello everyone. In this video, we will be converting linear equations to slope-intercept form. When we say slope-intercept form, it is in the form y equals mx plus b. And this is the first part. Now let's take these examples right here. It says that we're supposed to change the given linear equation, so these two right here, to its equivalent slope-intercept form. Again, slope-intercept form is having a form y equals mx plus b. So let's take this first example here. So we're given 6x plus 2y plus 8 equals 0. Our target, in order that we can change this to its slope-intercept form or y equals mx plus b form, is to have y by itself on one side of the equation. So as you can see here, this y is surrounded by all of these terms here. So we have a 6x, we have a 2 next to the y, we have an 8. We need to get rid of all these. So in order that we can do that, we're going to take its opposite. Now let's start with the 6x. Since this is positive, we remember that the opposite of addition or positive is subtraction or negative. So then we can go ahead and say that we can subtract. So we can get rid of the 6x. So we can have y by itself here. So we're going to subtract 6x from both sides. So minus 6x and minus 6x. So if we subtract 6x on one side, we do the same thing for the other side, so that we can go ahead and say that if we have 6x minus 6x is a 0, so we can cross that out. So we are left with 2y, so that's a positive. So I'm just going to write 2y plus 8 equals negative 6x. Now again, our target is to have y by itself on one side, but we have a 2 next to the y and we have an 8, so we need to get rid of them because again we want to have y by itself here, so that we go ahead and say that since this is a plus 8, remember that the opposite of addition is subtraction, so we go ahead and subtract 8 from both sides and minus 8. Now just a reminder, I do not subtract the 8 from the 6x because others are gonna do that, because these two are not like terms. This one is an x, this one doesn't have an x, so we cannot subtract them together. So I put the minus 8 not in line with a 6x. That means I cannot subtract 8 from the negative 6x. So that we can go ahead and say that we are left with positive 8 minus 8 is a 0. So we have crossed that out. So we are left with 2y on the left side of the equation, and that is equal to negative 6x minus 8. So then again, our target is to have y by itself on one side of the equation. Since we have a 2 here, this is read as 2 times y or 2y. We remember that the opposite of multiplication is division. So then we go ahead and divide both sides by 2. So I divide each one of these by 2. So not only to the 6x, but including the other term as well. So I divide 2 to all of these. So if I get 2 divided by 2, that's actually 1, and I can cross that out. So I'm left with y is equal to negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3, and we got an x, and then negative divided by a positive 2 is a negative 4, because you have a 8 divided by 2 is 4, and that's a negative. So this is the slope-intercept form of this equation that we have up there. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over the problem here. Again, our target is to have y by itself on one side of the equation. So we need to get rid of this 5x and 9. So as you can see here, we have a 5x, that's a positive. We remember that the opposite of addition is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides, minus 5x. So then we go ahead and cross the 5x out. So we're left with negative 3y minus 9 equals negative 5x. So then again, we want y by itself. So we need to get rid of the minus 9. So we remember that the opposite of subtraction is addition. So I'm going to add 9 from both sides plus 9 here. So then we go ahead and cross the 9 out. We are left with negative 3y is equal to negative 5x plus 9. We have a negative 3 times y, or negative 3 multiplied by y. We remember that the Target for this is to have y by itself on one side, but we have a -3 multiplied to the y. We remember that the opposite of multiplication is division. So then we go ahead and divide all of these sides both sides by -3, divide this by -3, divide this by -3. So then we are left with -3 divided by -3. We can cross that out. That becomes a 1, and that is y equals negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that is 5 divided by 3. 3 doesn't go to 5, so I can just keep that as 5/3. And then we have an x next to it. We have a positive divided by a negative is a negative. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So then we go ahead and say that the slope-intercept form of this given equation right here is y equals 5 over 3x minus 3. Did you get the same answer as this? Good. Perfect. Now let's move on to the next example right here. So we are given 9x plus 3y is equal to 15. So then again, our target is to isolate y by itself on one side, so we can have it in a form y equals mx plus b or slope-intercept form. So in this case right here, we have a -3x plus 3y equals 15. So then on the left side, we want the y only, but then as you can see here, we got 3 and -9x. So that means we need to get rid of them. Since we say that this is a minus 9x or subtract 9x, remember that the opposite of subtraction is addition. So we go ahead and add 9x to both sides plus 9x. Now you see I did not put them next to each other because again, they are not like terms. This one is an x, this 15 doesn't have an x. So then I can go ahead and cross this 2 out. So I'm left with 3y is equal to, I'm going to write the x first because it should be in a form y equals mx plus b. So that is 9x, it was a positive, and then there's a positive right there, so plus 15. So this becomes 9x plus 15. So then we go ahead and say that this is 3 times y or 3y. We remember that we need to get rid of the 3 here, so we need to have y by itself on one side. Remember that the opposite of multiplication is division, so we go ahead and divide both sides by 3. I divide this by 3 and I divide this by 3. So then we are left with just y on the left side now. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and we got the x, plus 15 divided by 3 is 5. So this is the slope-intercept form of this equation that we have right there. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over the problem here. Again, the target is to have y by itself on one side of the equation, but we have the 5x -4, so we need to get rid of these. We need to get rid of these so that we have y by itself here. So that we go ahead and say this is a plus 5x. Now remember that the opposite of addition is subtraction, so I will subtract 5x from both sides, minus 5x, and this 5x cannot be subtracted from -12 because again, they are not like terms. So then I can go ahead and say that if I have 5x minus 5x, that's a 0. So I'm left with -4y on the left side, and that is, I will write the -5x first because again, it has to be in y equals mx plus b form. So that is -5x minus 12. So I just rearranged them. So I put the -5x at the beginning and then the -12 at the end, so that we can go ahead and say that this is -4 times y. Now we remember that we need to have y by itself here, so then we go ahead and say that this is -4 multiplied by y. Now we remember that the opposite of multiplication is division, so then I will divide both sides by -4. I divide all of these by -4, so I can have y by itself on the left side. So I cross this out. I'm left with y equals negative over a negative is a positive, and then 4 doesn't go to 5, so I can just keep that as 5 over 4x. So this is a -4 right here, so we go ahead and say negative over a negative is a positive, and then we have a 12 divided by 4 is 3. So then the equivalent slope-intercept of 5x minus 4y equals negative 12 is y equals 5 over 4x plus 3. Did you get the same answer as this? Good. Perfect. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!